Hi everybody, this is Electra. And well, let's see. Got a nice sunset going tonight, so I changed my angle here. And that's my balcony. And I'm going to talk more about games because I feel like I just barely scratched the surface of that in my video yesterday. There was so much more I wanted to share and just didn't really get to. And so let's do that. Games, how are they going to be important for us? They're going to teach us how to think, and not just how to think, but how to think to win, to dominate, to become everything that the enemy does not want us to be. That's what we need to become. We need to take what they are and turn a 180 on every single thing. We need to be the exact opposite of what they are. We need to dominate. We need to turn things around on them, turn the tables. And I think board games are a great way to do this on a daily basis in a world of fantasy where nothing is really real and there are no real life consequences if you lose. Wargaming, especially, is used by actual militaries all over the world, especially the US. I don't think they'll do anything unless they wargame it out first. And and why is that so good? It's good because you can make mistakes, you can lose, you can see what you have to do to lose just as much as you can see what you need to do to win. And you can make huge mistakes with cardboard counters or wood blocks instead of actual human lives. So it's going to teach you how to think. It's going to teach you how to plan. It's going to teach you how to plan with an actual physical goal in mind. And not only do you have to plan, you have to execute this plan. Planning is not enough. You get into the mental habit patterns of executing a plan, taking a plan from initial fruition in your head, in your mind, to doing things step by step by step to the result that you want in the game, which is usually to win, but not always. Some games are not as competitive as others. Um, so like right now, I'm playing a political game called 1960, The Making of the President. It is made by GMT Games, which is overall my favorite game publisher. They publish exclusively political history and war games. So this is a game about the 1960 presidential election between John F. Kennedy and Richard Nixon. And you place these wooden blocks. You might have seen it in the background on my last few videos. There are these little cubes that are red or blue, and the map of the U.S. as you would expect, and it shows you the electoral votes for each state. Which this is 1960, so it's very different than today. And it forces you to think like a campaigner. And to me, any presidential candidate these days should be playing games like this. Maybe not the one that models 1960, but there is another game called Campaign Trail that I also have played recently that is the modern day United States and with the electoral votes and so forth. And I think this is going to be really, really important because I've been really criticizing our inherent nature of wanting to learn and absorb information. Those of us on the left, I think, are especially prone to this. We love learning. We tend to be above average IQ. We like just thinking for thinking's sake. And I'm as guilty of that as everybody. These games allow you an outlet to think for thinking's sake in a concrete yet still abstract fantasy type of way. And at least it gets you into the habit pattern of thinking through a plan and executing, and then like thinking on your feet. If the rug gets pulled from underneath you, which it almost always will, it's just a matter of when and how many times, you'll have to react. Whether it's a political war or actual warfare with weapons, things are not going to go as expected. What's that old saying? It's not Clausewitz. It's something along the lines of a plan is only good until you make contact with the enemy. In other words, you know, a battle plan is good. You got to have it as a starting point, but the initial contact with the enemy, the battle plan's out the window, and it's all improvisation, which is another thing that that these games will teach us is improvisation, thinking on our feet, having a plan, sticking to the plan if you can, but also recognizing when situation has changed and your plan is now antiquated and out of date, and then you need to update. Uh, so yeah, political games. I have another one about women's suffrage called The Vote. It's a very different type of game, even though it's still political. It's about the late 1800s, so late 19th century um, struggle for women's suffrage and um, how it became like a law that women could eventually vote. So one side plays the there's like the what is it? Yeah, supremacy is the side that does not want women to vote, and the women's suffrage side is, I can't remember, but it's the side that wants women to vote, and it just gets your mind thinking in ways that model the real world. Now I know it's not going to be exactly like the real world. No game can be 100% like it, but even if it's only 50% like it, isn't that better than what most of us are thinking now, which is nothing that's tangible or can be tangible if taking the right actions? Reading books. I recommended books, and I'm making this video knowing it's going to cause maybe some of you to stop, maybe not take an action that you were going to take. Um, well, I trust that that will not happen. I trust that you will watch these videos at a time where it's not stopping you from doing anything else. That's why I like to post these very early in the morning, East Coast time. And, you know, that's when I personally watch YouTube videos for the most part. It's going to be very early in the morning. And it's also when I play my games. I think it's a good way to start the day, get the brain going, and have a cup of coffee while I play. I used to be a late night gamer, but now I just can't stay up past like 10 or 11 unless I really try. So, yeah, that's that. I think that's all I need to say about games right now. But um, yeah, I mean, maybe there's a way I could like somehow generate or like create some kind of course for people that are interested in like how to apply these types of political and war games and even like Euro style games. They teach you how to think just as well, if not more. Euro games tend to not be as competitive, or at least you're not taking direct action against your opponent or opponents. Whereas political war games, you can directly attack. Obviously, if it's a war game, you will directly attack and fight your opponent, either politically or martially, militarily. So, um, what else? Texas update. The Texas State Senate last night passed the bill for the Texas mid-decade redistricting for our regime to get 5 more seats in Congress, disenfranchising millions. And funnily enough, in that game, The Vote, it's called suppression. Why? Because that's what the forces of evil have always done. They suppress the people they know are against them. That's the only way they can win. And this is just like the struggle of history. Almost, it's like we never learn. There's always some segment of society that has to hold back the rest, and it eventually gets to the point where the ones being held back have no choice but to fight back. Um, so the Texas House is still in Illinois, New York, or California. I don't see why they have to go back. I mean, the Senate can do whatever it wants. It's unfortunate that 2 Democrats were there and they were able to have a quorum, but I don't see why that has to affect the House. They should just stick to their guns and keep doing what they're doing. That's my opinion. And I think that's about it for now. It's pretty late. I took a nap this afternoon because I went grocery shopping and this is kind of why I don't like summer anymore, is because like if I go out even just for 2 or 3 hours and run some errands, and I went to the Galleria and walked 3 laps around the whole mall. I've been doing that pretty much on the daily, well, at least like 5 days a week or so over the last month, especially since I've been unemployed. It just gets me out, and I need exercise, especially since I tend to be home more now and a lot of anxiety and stress, and I can work that off through physical activity. Another reason to do things. I wasn't even going to do this video, but I decided now it's like 8:24 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and I did it anyway because I wanted to do something, and I feel better because I did it. That brings up a topic I want to discuss another time, but that's this modern obsession with luxury and ease, and being and just modern and just convenience in general. Why did the South want slaves? They wanted ease, luxury, convenience. They didn't want to have to do things themselves. They used the excuse of it allowed them to pursue like other interests, and that this what they called the mudsill level of society. The mudsills, that was their place in life, was to serve the non-mudsills, the higher people in the caste system, and in the South. So again, like that is not a virtue. I think one of the better things of the American character, and I am going to glorify the American character here. I'm on the left, and I'm not going to bash my country. There are things about it that are good, not everything, but I think one of the better parts of the American character is that we have an ability to work and have a work ethic. And this is it's very not popular to talk about this these days, but a work ethic is good. It the problem I see now is that it's hard to have a work ethic when you know you're benefiting the forces of evil and not the forces of good. Almost every job I have worked over the last, geez, I don't know, 10, 20 years have not really benefited what I thought were necessarily the forces of good. And that's how our economy is. That's just corporate dominance. The free market doesn't exist anymore. We're not living in a true capitalistic society, but that's another time. Another video on that one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see everyone on the next one. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment and let me know how things are going. Would you be interested in learning more about political and historical board games to get the brain going? Think about how to form a plan to win and how to execute it, how to adapt when you're not winning. Let me know if you would be interested in that. And or please buy me a cup of coffee. I need all the support I can get right now. I've been unemployed for about a month and a half. And until that changes, I'm going to be a full-time content creator, I guess. It's not exactly what I wanted to do with my life, but sometimes life tells you what you are or what you need to do. And until that changes, this is my only source of eventual income, I guess, when I start getting these monetized, which won't happen for a while. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see everybody on the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.